Hi, it's Claire from Handmade at Hudson's, and thank you very much for pressing play on the video today. If you are new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you know when I've posted. And this is the card we're going to be making today. So this is a really pretty card using copper embossing powder and a copper star which is retiring at the end of April. But I absolutely love how it looks on the Perfectly Plaid tree, but of course you could use any other stars that you have. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea or coffee, or you can craft along if you want to, and I will show you how to make this. We'll see you in a second. As I said in the introduction, this is the card we're going to be making today. So this uses the Perfectly Plaid stamp set, copper embossing powder, and then a copper star which is retiring, and then we've got punches, and then when you open it up it's got a message inside. So when I was attempting to try and make some others, I came up with some other ideas. So this one actually uses the dies, and I've got trees which I've cut out with the punch, and then I've got Merry Christmas, and then this is actually embossed in rose gold sparkly embossing powder by Wow, and it's actually one of my favourite embossing powders. And then this one doesn't have the circle in, but it's just a pop see-through card, and it's got the star and the embossed Merry Christmas. So I'm going to show you how to make this one, so this Merry Christmas, and it's quite simple. So the first thing that you need is a card base. So I have gone for my normal 10.5 by 14.5, sorry, it's 29 and then scored at 14.5, but use whatever size card base you normally go for. Then I have got a snowy background which is Misty Moonlight, and this is 10 by 14. All the measurements will be linked in below, and they'll also be on the coordinating blog post on my website on the Tinterweb, handmadeathudsons.co.uk. And also linked in below will be my video about how to make snowy backgrounds, so you can choose which snowy background suits you. And then for the inside I have got a piece of white card which is 10.5, no, it's 10 by 14 as well. So the first thing that I'm going to do is use punches. So if you are using punches, you don't want to add the two cards together. If you are using dies, so I have discovered that the layering circle dies, I think it's the 3rd and 4th. So if you take these two, these are the equivalent of the punches that I'm using. So if you are die cutting, you want to stick the two together. If you are using punches, you want to do them one at a time. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the 2¼ inch circle punch. So this is retired, however you can find it on Amazon, I think. And there's lots of places that sell punches. So I'm just going to put that to one side for a second. So then you're going to get your Misty Moonlight, take some glue and put it around the edges. Woo! And then on one side but not the other, because you want to be able to punch the circle without getting glue on your punch. So just want to stick that down like so. Remove any random glue that you've got in places that shouldn't be there. Okay, so that is now stuck down, and I'm just going to leave that to dry and do some stamping. So the inside section, I am going to stamp with the May this special season be wrapped in love and joy. And I'm going to take my Mr. Moonlight, but it can be any ink that goes with your card. And I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to stamp to the side. So what happens is that you're going to have your circle here, so it needs to be as far over as you can, or you're going to end up with your sentiment under your circle, which you don't want. And then you want to clean off your stamp, she says, after the embarrassing previous video. And then what you need to do is, now this is dry, you are going to take your 2 1/4 inch circle punch again, and you are going to punch out the Misty Moonlight. So I've just lined up the circle and just clean the edge. So now we've got a pop-up, we've got a circle, and then I'm going to add this with glue. So I'm just going across the middle, down the sides. I prefer to use Tombow because it gives you a bit of wiggle room, so that if you don't line it up properly, you can move it. There we go. So now I have got my circle. So I'm just going to take that bit off, and that's going to pop back into there, but we're going to do that in a minute. So the next thing I'm going to do is heat emboss my Merry Christmas. So how I'm going to do that, or how you would do that, is to take your stamp. So I've got my Merry Christmas, I've got it on my block. I'm just going to move these out of the way because I'm feeling trapped. And you would take your Versamark. So I have got my Versamark here. You would ink up your stamp. And I would suggest using an embossing embossing buddy, because it might stick to damp parts of the paper. So I want my Merry Christmas right about there. I'm just going to make sure that it's fully. So I'm not sure whether you can see that, but there's my Versamark, which is just sticky embossing ink. So I'm going to bring in some scrap paper, and I'm also going to bring in my copper embossing powder. So Stampin' Up are bringing out in their next catalogue a selection of embossing powders that come together. So they're going to be basics that come together, and then which are black, white and clear, and then metallics, which is copper, gold and silver. And I'm just going to pour this back in, and I'm going to get rid of that on the floor. It's mostly gone. And I put the lid back on before I knock this over everywhere. So I'm just going to heat this up using an heat tool, and I shall be back in a second. So here we go. This is heat embossed. So from here, I am going to add this back on in here. So I'm just going to add some dimensionals to the back. And you don't want it to be too soggy. to have a soggy middle rather than a soggy bottom. So I'm just going to stick those around the sides. Now the challenge of getting all the backs off and putting it back in, and then making sure these backs don't go everywhere, all around the house, on the dog, in your tea, etc. There we go. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the tree. So I have got the tree on a block, and I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper. So this is from a card that went slightly wrong because I dropped my ink on it, which is really not good. And then I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow ink pad, and I am going to use a blending brush again. So I'm just using a blending brush that I have found in my stash, and I'm just going to add Mossy Meadow to the tree, and I might add a bit more. There we go. So it's not quite as dark. And then I'm going to stamp onto my card. And there we have a gorgeous, gorgeous Christmas tree. Let's put this away. And I'll clean that off in a minute. And then I'm just going to take the 2-inch circle punch and punch the tree out. It just about fits. And then I am going to glue this onto my circle. And then I have pulled out the Star Designer elements, and so these are retiring in May, but you can use any sort of star or jewels that you may have. And I'm just going to add a star to the top of the tree. And there we have it. I think that looks really rather cute. So let's pull these out and bring in my originals. And I think that looks really rather cute, and it's quite a simple, quick card, and it wouldn't take too long to do multiples. So thank you very much for pressing play on the video today. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell so that you're notified whenever I record or place a new video on YouTube. And if you've got any questions, you can contact me. My email is claire@handmadehudsons.co.uk, or you can leave me a comment below and I will respond. You can find details of this card on my website, which is handmadehudsons.co.uk. And thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope it's sunny, warm and lovely wherever you are at the moment. And I hope that this has inspired you to make some really quite simple, gorgeous, stepped up Christmas cards. Thanks, bye.